Hello and welcome to Paint Yourself into the Picture, healing conversations to help us create the best pictures of our lives. I'm Reba Linker, best-selling author, life coach, and manifesting guru, and I'm so glad you're here. We'll jump in with a 2-minute teaching. This one is in honor of my new manifesting courses, which are offered by the Daily Ohm, and the new mini courses on my courses page on my website. I want to share a simple but very important manifesting tip. When you're writing a list of all the delightful things you'd like to have and experience, rather than write I want or even I desire or I wish for, write instead, wouldn't it be nice if? A huge key to manifesting is to bring your desires into the present through your words, thoughts, and actions. The words I want can signal a lack of the very thing you wish for, as in, I lack this thing, therefore it is wanting. Even the words I desire or I wish for can place our goals over there, while we are over here in a state of not having it. In contrast, the words, wouldn't it be nice if, place us in a state of as if sampling the thing that we desire. We become actively and imaginatively engaged in the mental act of, as it were, trying it on for size. We taste it and we feel the texture of it in our lives. Like, wouldn't it be nice to have a cup of coffee right now? You're just tasting it. It's almost in your hands. Give it a try and let me know how it works for you in the comments below. And now, it is my great pleasure to introduce my friend and our guest, Jenny Mannion. Jenny's journey began by healing herself of 7 years of chronic illness in 3 weeks. She is now an intuitive healer, mind-body mentor, and has helped clients heal from depression, cancer, MS, and many other challenges. She is the author of A Short Path to Change, 30 Ways to Transform Your Life, and is a contributing blogger for the Huffington Post. Jenny, welcome to Paint Yourself into the Picture.
Thank you so much, Reba. It's so nice to be here.
It's wonderful to have you here. And I was looking through your wonderful book, and I found a quote by Carl Jung that you used to head up one of the chapters. And it says, we aren't here to heal our illnesses. Our illnesses are here to heal us. Can you speak a little bit about what that means to you?
Yeah, I love that quote. When we are in touch with our body, and a whole section on my book is on the chakra system, which I consider our inner diagnostic system. Our body is giving us clues. It's talking to us all the time. Unfortunately, we're not taught how to listen. That'd be a really good tool in school, to be taught how to listen to the messages our body sends us. Instead, we're actually taught to kind of numb out. You get a headache, you take a pill. You don't ask yourself, why am I getting this headache right now? Am I under stress? What is going on? So when our body is giving us signals, it is actually trying to bring us into balance by telling us that something's off. So in getting to know about the chakra system and getting to get quiet, it's all about the getting quiet too. You're not going to be getting messages if you're on your cell phone 24/7. You need to be able to get quiet, tune into your body, and just ask what is in alignment and what's not in alignment. So our illnesses can actually tell us what is not going right in our lives, or what needs to be brought back into balance.
So you're saying that the illness is a symptom of not being in alignment, and
Yes.
So once we get back into alignment, the illness goes away? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and sometimes, the body will give you subtle signs first, and then if you're not listening, the symptoms will get worse. And until you're kind of forced to pay attention. I know that I didn't listen to my body, and I say I'm a recovering perfectionist now. I was definitely a type A personality, had this huge house. I wanted everything to be perfect. New mom, wanted to be able to, control being a mom. Good luck with that. So there were so many things, so much pressure I was putting on myself. And mean, eventually the pain settled in my legs and I could barely walk. I mean, my body was telling me, hey, you need to start paying attention, maybe do a little less, turn inward, look at how you're feeling, assess how you're feeling, and start doing things for you instead of doing things for everybody, which, yeah, a lot of women are guilty of. We feel like we're the caregivers and nurturers, and we feel a lot of guilt when we start taking care of ourselves.
This is true. Tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, how did you see the illness sort of, were you healthy as a child and then it sort of crept up and got worse and worse? And just tell us a little bit about how you experienced that journey.
Yeah, I was a pretty healthy child. That stomach ache sometimes. I mean, looking back at that, I think I was always empathic. So I think that definitely contributed to those stomach aches. But other than that, I mean, I was a pretty healthy child. About a year after my son was born was when I started getting really sick. And there were definitely a bunch of contributing factors to that now, looking back in hindsight. But it started with the diagnosis of chronic mono. I felt really tired and achy all the time. Then it was fibromyalgia. Then it was a genetic blood disorder, actually factor V Leiden. And they said with that, I was some crazy amount, like 500 times more likely to contract a blood clot. Within 3 weeks, I manifested a blood clot, wound up in the hospital for 4 days. And then the last was the most grim. It was Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, benign hypermobility. And they said because the pain was in my legs, it would probably settle there and I could be in a wheelchair as soon as a year. So that was, I mean, the mom in my I was probably like 36 years old when they told me all this. So it was crippling emotionally. I had 2 little kids that, again, I was that recover at the time. I was still that perfectionist that actually couldn't do anything. So I was very hard on myself, telling myself, I'm not a good enough mom. I'm not a good enough wife. I'm not a good enough friend or daughter because I can't go to things. I can't be there for people. So it's very, very hard on myself.
So this was a huge wake-up call. What do you think was the cause, living a life that was out of alignment with your true purpose? So how do you see kind of the reason? I'm very fascinated. I don't mean to be nosy.
No, there were a bunch of contributing factors. There was that the house was honestly too big for me. I mean, we were living in like a 5,000 square foot old house that you do one project and you need to do 10 more. Yeah. And it just wasn't a place that I was necessarily happy in either. There were so many contributing factors. I mean, my relationship with my husband at the time definitely needed some work, but I think it was scary for me to even look at that. There were so many things that really just made me feel, I guess, not in my power. And I wasn't aligned with what I was doing. I was doing some graphic design work, which I liked, but it wasn't my passion. Mm-hmm. My clients were actually not exactly the greatest people to work with. It was definitely challenging. So I do feel like I was just out of my power. I wasn't comfortable. I felt overwhelmed and didn't really know what to do about it. And I think my body was like, okay, well, we'll give you time to figure it out. You're doing too much, but you're not doing anything that really is bringing you love. I mean, I was doing yoga and, sometimes trance dance, a little bit of dance, but other than that, not too much for me.
Yeah. So this really stopped you in your tracks. Can you walk us through the other side of the journey where you began to change your approach and move away?
Yeah, there were a couple things. I mean, first, of course, I did all the traditional stuff, the support groups, all of that, which did not help me. That made me actually become my diseases. I really did become every symptom. And a lot of the support groups were people kind of having, I hate to say this, but like pity parties and one-upping each other with how bad my life is, how many medications I'm on. One book I read even said to have a funeral for my old self because I would never be that person again. So it was pretty horrific. So there were a couple things that led to me being in a good place to heal. The first was meeting my friend Angela. Funny, her name. Definitely an angel. And we met. I had actually gone out for St. Patrick's Day and I didn't really go out that much. It was hard for me to get out. And I met her, and yeah, it wasn't just the green beers. We were like left hugging each other, being like, oh, we're going to be best friends, you know. And I didn't really take many medications. I was always kind of fearful of being dependent on medications. I would take a pain pill once in a while. So when I met Angela after that, I'd take a pain pill to be able to go for a walk. So I'd go for a walk, and we'd go out for a walk for an hour or two. And I just feel like she saw me as me, not sick Jenny, not, you know, mom that can't do this, or, you know, it was finally, I wasn't judging myself. I was just, it was like when you meet that new friend that you have that soul connection with, we're just very happy learning about each other. And I just started to recognize myself a little more. And at the time too, a friend recommended the SARC books, which has you journal in a positive way, because I was always a writer. But when I was sick, oh, it was not good. I was writing all my negative thoughts. I'm in so much pain. I'm a bad mom. All these things just reaffirming. So the SARC books had me kind of writing what I was grateful for, people I was grateful for, things I was able to do. And I think those two things put me in the perfect place for when the movie The Secret was mentioned to me. It took me about a year to see it. I think that was resistance. When I did see it, there were a couple lines in there that really just were the catalyst for my change. One of them was gratitude, where we put, you know, what are we putting our attention towards in the gratitude? I was putting my attention towards, I can't do this. Instead of, I have a comfy bed to lay on. I can read to my kids, even if I can't run after them. So switching those things. And our body is 99.9% new every 11 months. So where we put our thoughts, it makes sense that that helps contribute to if you're creating healthy cells or sick cells. And I know I was waking up telling myself, ow, my legs, am I going to pass out in pain today? Am I going to vomit in pain today? Is it safe for me to drive my kids? Just let me get through this day. All these horrible, limiting, non-healing thoughts.
So it's interesting that your healing process, I think one of the keys, or several of the keys, is one is friendship, which is fabulous. And it's very interesting that it was a woman friend, and it was outside the expectations of your life. So she was present for you, loving you, and not judging you in terms of your performance in all your roles. So that was one, and the other is gratitude. What are the other keys in your experience to self-healing, to awakening that ability? And this is so important for our viewers, because a lot of people would love to be able to heal themselves. We hear the miraculous stories about people who cure themselves of disease, and we'd love to do it too. What's the key?
There are a bunch of other ones. Actually, I came up with like a little system. It was called the Paging Me system. And each letter was an acronym. And the first one is pardoning. So pardoning, forgiveness of yourself and others is really important. If you're blaming someone for your life situation, if you're blaming yourself for your life situation. And that was tough when I was awakening to changing my thoughts, because then suddenly you mean I could have healed 7 years ago? I didn't have to be in bed this long, you know, but to be able to be in that place of love and forgiveness and really it's part of the self-love is the pardoning too of yourself. Be in that place of loving yourself as much as you would your best friend, you know, giving them that kindness and love and patience. If someone came to you, you would never say the things that we repeat in our head to your best friend. So starting to try to talk to yourself like that, pardoning, Ho'oponopono was a big help for me in healing myself and also anyone that I had blamed in my life and was still holding anger for. You cannot really move forward if you're in the past blaming someone for something. You're holding that person's energy is still kind of holding you hostage, and you're allowing it to by being that victim, by saying, well, they did that to me, so of course I'm not going to be a happy person. Well, you know what? They did that to you however long ago, and you get to choose now if you're going to let that energy still affect you or not.
Right. And it's for the self, and for the viewers who don't know Ho'oponopono, it's a Hawaiian statement of forgiving others, forgiving the self, and expressing love toward the other. And it's a very healing ritual. You can look it up online. I recommend that you do so. Tell us again the acronym. It was
It's paging me, so it's pardoning. The second one was attention shifting. So shifting my attention from, ow, my legs, to my little finger is healthy. Wow, it doesn't have any pain. I'm so excited. There must be healthy cells in my body. Not every part of my body is in pain. And even in the grocery store, if you have that person in front of you, the cashier calls the check, price check, are you sighing and, mad and pissed off and looking at your phone and, oh, this stinks and now I'm going to be late? Or are you like, wow, I just got 2 minutes, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to recognize this moment. Same in the car with traffic. Are you, angry, road rage? Are you saying, you know what, maybe I'm going to blast my favorite song now. Maybe I'm going to do some gratitude now. Mm-hmm. So really kind of just becoming conscious about where you're putting all your attention. G is gratitude. We talked about that. That's really important. Influences is everyone around you, as well as your house. Is your house crammed with stuff? What movies are you watching? What books are you listening to? If you're always watching angry things, it might start affecting you. The top 5 people that you're around, do they drain you of all your energy? I was a very caring person, so sometimes I attracted people to me that really needed that care. The wounded, it's like the wounded people, birds came to me and I did want to fix them. N is no negative self-talk, watching how you're talking to yourself. We all do say, we're all a little guilty of that, saying things to ourselves we wouldn't say to other people, really watching it and saying, do we believe this? So many times we're repeating these messages that we might not even believe anymore. It's something we've heard from a teacher or a parent or someone in our life. But yeah, I have clients that say they're stupid. They're not stupid. They tell themselves they're stupid. And, I've done that. Oh, that was stupid, Jen. So when you catch yourself being that loving person and being like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm a silly human that keeps repeating these things to myself, maybe. And G is goal setting of the paging me system. So setting goals, setting intentions. You work with manifesting. That's beautiful. People need to know what they want first. If you ask someone what they want, they might just say, I want to be happy. Well, what does that look like in your life? Right. With relationships, with emotionally, mentally, financially, what does that look like for you? You have to be able to set goals to even understand what you want to manifest. Otherwise, you're sending out a bunch of crazy signals and the universe doesn't know what to give you.
Exactly. And a big part of that is being able to ask, which is something that is so important. A lot of people don't want to set a goal because they're shy to ask. I'd love a beach house, but can I ask for that? Do I deserve that? So there's so many layers to each of these things in your paging system.
Yeah.
That can go in so many directions. I'm sure it is an incredibly rich tool that you offer to your clients. So would you say that is the key to helping your clients unlock their own self-healing ability?
I do. Well, the last 2 were meditation and education. So
the me, right? The paging me.
Meditation, can look like a bunch of different ways. There's in my book, I offer I think 6 different ways to meditate, and there's so many more. Doesn't look the same for every person. Education is education in our passions. We need to be able to pursue the things that want to make us want to get up in the morning and have a smile on our face, looking forward to taking that yoga class or drawing that day or whatever it is that gets us excited. So yeah, I work with clients on all of these things as well as some of the tools in my book. I am a big believer in the chakra system to balance energy out and to just kind of look at it for a signal on what's going on. A lot of women, for example, will have like thyroid problems or problems with their throat chakra because they are not used to speaking their truth. They're holding everything in. They feel guilty about speaking their truth. They're in an unhealthy relationship, but they don't know how to even approach the topic because they're in those patterns. Yeah. So yeah, really just, it always begins with forgiveness though. That self-forgiveness and that self-love is so critical in healing.
Well, let me ask you, because you mentioned the thyroid and the throat chakra, and I asked this in the Divine Feminine series, as well as this new Healing Outside the Box series. What did it take for you to free your voice?
It took me being really sick. It took me really, and it took actually, even after that, there were layers of it, layers of the healing. I was such a people pleaser that it took me a while to be able to set healthy boundaries for myself. And the friendships that I felt were draining me too much, to take a step back and not feel guilty about it.
So let me push you a little further. What was the little message inside your head that gave you permission to start doing that?
It was, I want to feel better. What I've been doing up until this point has not worked. It's had me sick. It's had me, getting sore throats. It's manifested in other ways. This is not the way to be. Once I saw that I healed myself physically, there were still obviously kinks to work out. We're always taking off those layers. And I did become very cognizant. I wrote chakra poems, actually, after healing, a couple years after healing. And each one was a healing exercise, that's for sure. And when I got to the fifth, I just got to a lot of realizations that I wasn't speaking my truth in a lot of situations. I wasn't being honest with myself. And of course that was causing, throat problems. And only we can give ourselves that permission.
Right. That's the key. And it's so interesting because your story really connects to self-love, because you really made yourself the priority. And I think it's so beautiful. And I think your story is such a great example of how self-love is not selfish.
No.
When you weren't doing it, you were pretty much flat on your back. You weren't helping, as much as you wanted to help. You were helping less. And when you found self-love, it gave you permission to be you in all your generosity and all your wisdom and all your beauty, so that you can share that with others. So it really, I think it's like ding, 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 everybody. Self-love is not selfish.
It's essential. And you can use all the analogies. You have to fill your well to have water to give. Yes. In a plane, they tell you to put on your oxygen mask first before helping your child. I mean, you need to take care of yourself first. And it should be something every day for you, whether it's, and we have all these little windows of time too. As a busy mom too, I've been so guilty of, there's no time. I have no time for that. I can't meditate an hour a day. You don't need to. That's beautiful if you do have the time for that. But in the morning, watching where your thoughts are, in the shower, doing a little ho'oponopono or intention setting or a manifestation exercise. I loved your manifestation exercise. Wouldn't it be nice if, that's a beautiful thing, because we certainly do that enough with the negative things. Right. Oh, the what if that happens? What if this happens? But
yes. And it's interesting that sometimes we think we're manifesting, but we're actually pushing something away because, I want more money. But, you think you're manifesting it, but that's actually pushing it away, because I want it means I lack it. Yeah.
And you're coming from that needy lack space. You're not coming from that joy that you're going to have when you have that money.
Right. Exactly. So, it's so interesting that little switch, there's a little switch that changed the direction of everything in your life. Everything was going this way, and that self-love part turned it around. So I want to ask you a fun question. If you had a bumper sticker that was the motto of your life, I love working with a bumper sticker as an inner guidepost, what would your bumper sticker be?
Oh, that's so hard because I'm so wordy. You are unlimited. I really do believe that we are all unlimited, and it really is tapping into that self-love. We can access that. We know we're not our bodies, and we can connect in that quiet space to know we're more. Even doing that prayer ho'oponopono. I have a lot of my clients say they break down crying. Yeah. You know why? Because you're tapping into that, your soul, and that beauty of knowing that you're more and you deserve it. self-worth is the other thing too. I mean, so many people will manifest unhealthy relationship after unhealthy relationship because they don't feel worthy inside. So really, to just know, I want everyone to know that they're unlimited. They don't have to settle. Change is always possible.
That's beautiful. And just a quick last question, because we have to wrap this up soon, is we could talk forever. Jenny.
Oh, yeah, we could, Reba.
First time we got on the phone or actually on Skype with each other, we just, blabbed away, and the hour, well over an hour flew. So we're like, okay, we can talk. Just share, what are your new directions? Where is this journey taking you next, if you have any sense of where you're going next with it?
Yeah, I would like to help more people. I love working with clients one-on-one. I always see doing that, but I want to do more workshops. My goal when I wrote the book was to open the doors to teach at places like the Omega Institute, to teach bigger workshops. I'm like, yeah, a couple winters from now to be invited to teach on their Costa Rica campus might be a nice thing. So,
I'll see you there, because that's on my dream list. That's on my wouldn't it be nice if list too. I definitely love the idea of going to those beautiful spaces and sharing our wisdom there. So, and it'll be fun to have you there.
Oh yeah, awesome.
So Jenny, why don't you tell the viewers how to get a hold of you? I'm sure a lot of people would benefit enormously, especially those suffering with physical ailments. You have such expertise in that area. So tell us, how do we get in touch with you?
Sure. It's JennyMannion.com, JennyMannion.com. And you can email me at jenny@jennymannion.com. And for subscribing to my site, you receive a chapter of my book, as well as a free guided meditation and lots more goodies.
Wonderful. Jenny, thank you so much for being on the show. And you're actually the first guest expert in the new Healing Outside the Box series on Paint Yourself into the Picture. So I'm very, very honored to have you here and to have you as a friend. So it's wonderful. And let me just wrap up the show. I want to thank our viewers for being with us today. We love having you here with us. I'm Reba Linker. My Facebook group is Leaders in Self-Love. And you can learn more about me at my website, rebalinker.com, and be sure to check out my new courses page. I'm very proud of the new manifesting courses. And we'd love for you to subscribe to our channel. Please like this video and leave your comments below. Join us again next week. Until then, remember to paint yourself into the picture. For this is how we heal.